Hello everyone, welcome to my video lecture once again. In this video, let us understand the meaning of GST as well as its objectives and the evolution of GST in India. We know that GST or Goods and Services Tax is a tax which is implemented in India on 1st July 2017. What is this tax? What is the meaning of this tax and what are the objectives of levying this tax? As per Article 366 2A of Indian Constitution, Goods and Services Tax is any tax on supply of goods and services or both, except taxes on supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Here we have to focus towards one is that supply. It is a tax on supply. And the second one is that all supplies are included except supply of alcoholic liquors for human consumption. So here it is the tax not only imposed on sales. Sales, you know that there should be transfer of ownership. There should be consideration. There are certain conditions to be fulfilled in order to consider a transaction as sales. But GST is imposed not only on sales but on all supplies. It may be with consideration or without consideration. Okay, yes. Now let us see what is the meaning of goods or definition given by the Act for the term goods. Goods means every kind of movable property other than money and securities. So it includes all movable properties. But it does not include money and securities like shares and debentures, but it also includes auctionable claims, growing crops, grass and things attached to or forming part of the land which are agreed to be severe before supply or under a contract of supply. In the sense, for example, one person has an agricultural land, and during this stage itself, he enters into contract with another trader, to sell these crops. Now, the crops are not yet sold to that party, but here the growing crops itself is considered as what? Goods. And the second one is that, the second feature of goods is that it is marketable, tangible or intangible. It may be tangible or intangible. All are included under the purview of what? Goods. Now let us see what are the objectives of levying GST. In the last video I explained this, but still let us focus more on this here. First one is that to have a national market. As I told earlier, because of the different tax rates in different states, the prices of different commodities will be different. It varies from state to state because of the tax variations. But when a single tax is imposed throughout the country, all over India, the prices will be uniform. Therefore, it creates one market, national market. The second objective is that to avoid cascading effect or multiplication of taxes. What is cascading effect? It is the tax on tax. When the taxes are imposed in different stages, you know the chain of marketing. The goods will be manufactured by the manufacturer. It will be sold to the wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, retailer to final consumer. Here, when the tax is levied and imposed on each and every stage of this marketing, the tax will be imposed on tax again. If the price sold by the manufacturer, the price for which the commodity is sold by the manufacturer is ₹100 and the rate of tax is 10, the selling price will be 110. The second person buys this commodity by paying ₹110 and when he sells for it for ₹130, for example, let us take 130. Again, if the rate of tax is 10%, the tax will be 10% on 130, again 13. Whereas this 130 rupees already includes 10 rupees tax which is already imposed by the earlier supplier. So here the tax is imposed on tax again. So to avoid this, to avoid multiplication of tax, to avoid the cascading effect, GST is the best solution. Because in GST the tax is imposed only on one stage and there is a benefit of input tax credit. Let us see what is input tax credit in later videos. Next, the third one is that to overcome the defects of old tax system. There is defect in case of old tax system, set off of taxes paid, varied taxes, hindrance for free flow of goods, overlapping of state VAT and central VAT, right? Then high cost to taxpayers, all these things. To overcome all these drawbacks of the old system, GST is implemented. Now let us see how GST is developed in India. Is it implemented and on first, even though it is implemented on 1st July 2017, what is the history behind this? What is the evolution behind this story? Let us see this here in this video. The thought of implementing GST in India started in the year 2000. The then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he set up a committee to draft GST law in the year 2000, and in the year 2002, Vajpayee formed a separate task force under Vijay Kelkar to recommend tax reforms under GST law. Whereas in 2004, this task force, Kelkar committee concludes that GST must be implemented to improve current tax structure. But it is not implemented. In the year 2016, the then Finance Minister P. Chidambaram announces GST introduction from 1st April 2010. He announced that from 1st April 2010, GST is implemented in India, but it is not happened. In 2007, CST to be phased out, rates to be reduced from 4 to 3%. In the year 2008, dual GST tax structure to have a separate levy and legislation. In the year 2010, GST implementation postponed because of certain reason. GST implementation was postponed, and in the year 2011, Constitution Amendment Bill to enable GST law is introduced. In the year 2012, this standing committee begins discussion on GST. Opposition parties raised concerns over clause 279B. In the year 2013, standing committee submits its report to the Parliament. The panel approves the legislation with some amendments. In the year 2014, GST bill introduced in Parliament by the Finance Minister. But what happened? In the year 2015, GST bill passed in Lok Sabha, but it is not passed in Rajya Sabha. In the year 2016, amended model GST law passed in both houses, both Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. President also gives his acceptance. In the year 2017, 4 supplementary GST bills passed in Lok Sabha as well as by Rajya Sabha by Cabinet, and from 1st July 2017, GST is launched throughout the India. So this is the story behind the implementation of GST. So GST is evolved in India after so many developments, so many discussions, so many committees formed for this purpose. There was a discussion in the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha as well, and there was objections for the implementation of GST by the opposition party also, and finally after clarifying all these problems on 1st July 2017, GST is one of the tax reforms, major tax reforms in India is implemented, and now we have one nation and one tax, that is GST. Thank you.